encapsulate some truths for you tonight, because I think they explain where we are today. In the founding of the State of Israel, 77 years ago, we faced a fairly united Arab world. It was led by Gamal Abdel Nasser. He promoted the idea of pan-Arabism. He would unite the whole Arab realm under his leadership, under his rule. The source of unity, one of the sources of unity, was to drive Israel, that is to oppose the founding of the State of Israel. That was done by the Egyptian regime before him, to prevent the Jewish state from being established. But once established, it had to be removed. It had no place. Right in the center of that great Arab domain, there couldn't be a Western state. We were foreign interlopers. We were foreign interlopers, right? I mean, we're here in Jerusalem, about a kilometer away from David's capital, which was established 3,000 years ago. We're not foreign interlopers. We're not the Belgians in the Congo. We're not the Dutch in Indonesia. We're the Jews in the Jewish homeland, Judea. Not only, at first they didn't try to actually annihilate our history, they just tried to annihilate us. And it wasn't such a big task. We were very small, really on a strip, tiny strip on the edge of the Mediterranean with Jerusalem. We had Hebron, a few thousand years, and very little else. And the idea was you can cut to the sea and finish it off. So they didn't waste time on propaganda. They just organized themselves, having, from our point of view, miraculously defeated them in the War of Independence. They didn't think it was over. And they arranged themselves to choke us and drive us into the sea in the weeks and days before 1967. And of course, you know how that ended. It ended even though they all said, well, Nasser put his troops into the Sinai, put 100,000 troops in the Sinai. Syria would join him. Hussein, despite our warnings, joined him from right across the street here. And we were about to be finished. But in 6 days, we turned the tables on them. And of course, we came back to our ancestral homeland in full force. And by the way, we took the high ground, and we will not leave it. It's ours. So they still didn't give up. They tried the war of attrition, and then in 1973, a combined attack, this time by 2 Arab armies in the Yom Kippur War. They surprised us. Within 3 weeks, we were at the gates of Damascus and Cairo, and that ended that. And so that began this whole situation where they attacked us again and again, created a situation where the Arab world began to realize that Israel is here to stay and that they have to make their dues with it. And so we began a process that began first with the peace at Camp David between Begin and Sadat, and later the peace with Jordan that was signed by Yitzhak Rabin and King Hussein. And so what you had is that the Arab world was slowly coming to realize that Israel is a fact that cannot be removed, and they were beginning to make peace with us. And so I decided to do something different. I decided to go around the Palestinians, and we went directly to the Arab capitals, made 4 peace treaties with 4 Arab states in about 2 months. It's important to see what happened in the rest of the Arab world. When, after we had these 2 peace treaties, historic peace treaties with Egypt and with Jordan, these are cold peace treaties because there wasn't really pacification of the population, but between governments. And that still holds, and that's good, because a cold peace is a lot better than a hot war. Okay, that held. It took us another quarter of a century to get the next peace treaty because everybody said the only way you're going to get it is you have to go through the Palestinians. That is, first solve the Palestinian problem, and then you'll get peace with the rest of the Arab world. Remember that? Yeah. Who said John Kerry? 12 points. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's right. He said, it's not going to happen. No, 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 no. He said it 4 times in the Saban Forum. I wish he said 5. We might get 5 countries. And so I decided to do something different. I decided to go around the Palestinians, and we went directly to the Arab capitals, made 4 peace treaties with 4 Arab states in about 2 months. And so we expanded the circle of peace, but the main thing that you can see here is that the number of Arab states that attacked us, 5, arguably 7 states in 1948, 3 in 1967, 2 in the Yom Kippur War, then 1 in the Lebanon War in 1982, kept declining. And basically the Arab world began to normalize its relations with Israel. And that's the good news. extraordinary brigade commander there in the Rafah crossing, saw our soldiers, and I asked him, so Itzik, how many terrorists have you killed? And this was in the middle of the fighting. He said, at this point, 1,203. I said, how do you know? I said, body counts. We see them. They're, we count them, fighters. And I said, how many civilians have you killed? You know what he said? None. None. Because they all left. They ended up killing 2,000 terrorists and practically no civilians. In fact, the only civilian deaths that are recorded are in the beginning of the fighting, as far as I know, because we dropped a stray bomb before we actually went in, and it hit an ammunition dump that Hamas had placed among civilians, and 20 terrorists died and 20 civilians died. But in the course of the fighting, the assumptions that were broadcast around the world, untrue. We couldn't progress on that piece because one part of the Arab world resolutely remained against us, and that's, who's that? Class? The Palestinians. The Palestinians clung to the original opposition to Israel, that basically you do not recognize a Jewish state, the Jewish state, in any boundary, in any form. Israel has to be annihilated. Israel has to be excised like a tumor. That was their position, and that was and remains the principal obstacle to a Palestinian-Israeli peace, the persistent Palestinian opposition to a Jewish state in any form, in any boundary. So the idea that you'll create a Palestinian state and that will produce peace, I'm saying this for the ambassadors who are here, all of you know this. The idea is folly, nothing more than folly. We just tried a Palestinian state in Gaza. You saw what that brought, right?